guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, I post a lot of vlogs. I post videos on real estate and business and lifestyle, fashion, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to subscribe if you like this video. But today's video is going to be about growing your business as a new real estate agent. And I wanted to make this video a while ago. I have been sitting on it, but I feel like now I have a pretty good idea of what my 6 points are that I'm going to go over in the video. So I would say that I'm going to start out with be intentional for number one. So I thought about this one the other day in a workshop or a meeting for my work, and we were talking about open houses. And when you're walking through, or when a new client is walking through an open house, they can tell if you are not present, if you're working on something else, if you are just not really greeting them, or if you're vice versa, kind of down their throat when they're walking in, like you really are hungry for business and you need to earn their business. So I think there's a happy medium in just being intentional when you're there. So being present. Again, when people are walking through your open house, they might have never walked through one. So if they're walking through an open house, just greeting them politely at the door and making them feel a little bit more comfortable to walk through the house. And then I usually sit further back and I will talk to them once they start walking through the house a little bit more, and just learning where they're coming from and all of that kind of stuff, just really basic conversation. And then I let it flow. If they seem to be conversational, I usually talk to them a little bit more when they leave, things like that. So just being intentional. And I think just not even an open house, but across the board when you're doing showings, or if you're going to a networking group, or if you are working on a team that's doing calls from different platforms and you've never met your client before, but you're meeting them for a first time ever at a showing, just being very intentional. And when I say intentional, I mean present as well. So I think that makes a huge difference in number one, because also talking to some other agents, I feel like they struggle sometimes with doing this, and I feel like it's a direct line to why they're not earning new business, is because they're not being intentional with when they're meeting new clients or when they're trying to grow their business and network. So that's my number one, is to be intentional. Number two is to be consistent. This is something that I implemented really early on, because I knew that not everything was going to just click right away. I didn't want to start doing and spending time on things and then just stop because it wasn't working after a month, 2 months, even a year. So being consistent is really important, and it's all about a numbers game. So if you're doing one open house, or if you're doing flyers in a neighborhood and you only do it once a quarter, or you only do it 4 times and then you're like, I never got a phone call, so I'm just gonna stop doing it. I think that was a waste of your first 4 times. So being consistent, you're just doing it over time, and it might take a year. It might take you to do it 6, 7, 100 times to leave flyers over time at someone's house, but you might get a phone call after that 50th time you've dropped something off. So being consistent, that also carries over to open houses and phone calls and taking classes, things like that. So just being consistent is definitely important, and I would say that is my number two. Number three is, I've heard this in a lot of different things, but your network is your net worth. So don't be stuck up on, I need to get a deal this month, I need something right this second, and just kind of blow past someone that could potentially be added to your network and could be a client in the next year or two. I think just constantly focusing on growing your network and your database is really important, especially when you're building up. For me, since I started at a younger age in real estate, it was harder, and I'm in the Denver market, so it's a little bit of a higher price point. So not really using that as an excuse, but being a problem solver and saying, okay, I need to solve the problem of my current network isn't really there yet. So how am I going to grow this network, and how am I going to expand my business to start adding more and more people to this network that are going to be, whether they're going to be buying now or in a couple years. I just want to keep adding to my network because you never know who's going to come to fruition from that list. So your network is your network, or your network is your net worth is number 3. And number 4 is having multiple pillars of business. So I joined a team that does Zillow leads, and originally I was not on the team that did Zillow leads, and then I went and joined that team, and then once I joined that team, I wasn't really getting any Zillow leads probably the first 6 months. And so I wasn't relying on that, and I was still doing my open houses. I was still trying to join different networking groups and joining tennis leagues and golf leagues and all of those things to just try and add more and more people to my database. I wasn't relying on just Zillow. I wasn't relying on just my sphere. I wasn't relying on the flyers that I leave in neighborhoods. I had multiple, so I think I have 5 right now, and I do, Miles, could you let rip 5 pillars of business, 1 being open houses, 2 being online, so my Instagram, my YouTube, I think that's it. My Instagram, my YouTube, and what am I forgetting? Facebook. And then like my website, my Zillow leads, things like that, my Zillow website. So online, open houses, and then my 3rd would be my neighborhood, so my farm area. My 4th would be my sphere, and then my 5th would be referrals. So just to give you an idea of where I'm at right now, I had started out my first 2 years, honestly, not really doing much, just shadowing, and I didn't have my own clients at this point. I was just doing a lot of buyer stuff for a really busy agent here in Denver, and so I was doing all of her showings for her, and then I kind of was like, okay, I just need to dive into this and take a risk and do my own thing. So I did. Wasn't super successful, but I was able to make it my first year. My 2nd year now, I'm already started off on a huge hit. I probably have like 20 people in my pipeline, and I've closed 3 deals already, and it's February. So I would say that even like my open house leads, I just closed 1 in December, 1 in February, and then they sent me a referral. And then I just met another open house person. So I already have 4 from that. I have 2 from online. I have 1 past, and I have like 6 sphere. Like I said, 2 referrals. I think I said that. So I have a huge list of people that I think are gonna buy this year, and it's all coming to fruition because I was consistent, I was intentional, I did all those things last year, and it's all coming to fruition this year. And but like I said, I'm not that person that's going to be joining a team that's doing Zillow and only relying on that Zillow, because then you're literally relying on Zillow to pay your bills, and you just cannot do that. And so that would give me anxiety, and I would get stressed out. So I really focused on doing the things that I can control. And open houses, you can really only do them, I mean, you can do them on the weekdays, but you're most likely going to get the most traffic on a weekend, usually, depending on the day or what's going on in that neighborhood. So I try to do them on the weekends, and when I can do them on the weekends, I try to do 1 to 2. Or if I'm doing flyers in the neighborhood, I try and do those consistently on a few couple streets every other month. I added all of their emails. I pulled their emails and added them to getting consistent emails from me. And then, what else? Joining networking groups, consistently writing notes to the people that are in my database that are in my sphere, doing pop-bys. For Valentine's Day, I did a flowers down to different of my clients that have closed, or even people that I'm working with currently. I did flowers, and literally a week later from that, I got a referral from someone. So being present in all of your pillars at all times when you can. So that's my number 3. Or no, that's my number 4. And then 5 is be creative. So I just feel like sometimes I feel a little stuck in what I'm doing with being consistent with those things, that I need to add different ideas and feel like I'm being creative, which is why last year I did the pickleball tournament, which was super fun. I made Aperol spritzes. I did charcuterie board, little snacks, things like that, and people loved that. And that helps me be creative. I took pictures of everyone. I posted it on social media. So you really kind of get the social media post, you get the creative side, you get touches on all of your network. So it's like a good way to incorporate everything and be creative. The other thing that I have been creative with recently is I want to do campaigns every month. So the first month of the year I was going to do flyers, and it was going to say, hello neighbor, I'm blah blah blah, I work in this neighborhood, I represent both buyers and sellers, I am curious if you know what your home is worth. I offer a complimentary service of doing a estimate of your home, or like a full analysis for your home. If you're interested, please call or give me a call with all of my information on it, and then making a very professional looking flyer. So being creative in that sense as well. So I just feel like sometimes I've done it before and I've tried it. I just don't think I'm a cold call person, but I would say that a lot of people are very successful from cold calls. I just am not, and so I needed to be more creative, and I really like doing flyers and leaving flyers around the neighborhood, and it makes me feel productive. So I would say being creative is a fun way to try and grow your business without getting stuck, if that makes sense. And then 6 is my last one, and this one is maximize time. So when I wrote this one, I was thinking about open houses again, and when I do my signs, I go a little bit early and I drop off all of my signs on usually the busier streets around there, and then I do flyers in the neighborhood. So even if I really wanted to, I could door knock and try and get the neighbors to come. And it's not even that they are looking to sell or do anything anytime soon, but just to, again, add to my network. So utilizing your time, if I'm going to be out in the neighborhood working, I might as well add an extra 10 minutes to my schedule to go do that. So things like that, or even if you're in the car, like I like to listen to podcasts and or something I can learn from. Just maximizing your time, I think, is the best way to get things done as well. Sometimes, like in real estate, since you're not stuck on a schedule, it's kind of hard to get used to having big chunks of open time, especially if you're newer. And so I think if you get in the habit of maximizing your time, it makes you feel very efficient, and so then you're more likely to do things like that. So those are my top 6 tips and tricks that I have, and or just how to become successful in real estate. Like I said, be patient. I did these things for a year and a half straight and didn't really see anything come to fruition. Come year 2, 2.5, I am shocked at the results that I've been having. So these are, when I sat down and thought about it, these are the top 6 that I would recommend to a new agent, and I'll probably continue to make videos like this talking about different ways that I have seen work for me, and I definitely just want to share that. I don't know how many agents on here watch my videos, and or if you're a new agent and just starting off, I would definitely like to help. So these are, like I said, my 6 tricks and tips, and then I think I might make another video, but I'm just going to continue to do vlogs and keep you updated on different home decor trends, since I love that as well, and then walk through new builds. And yeah, so that's kind of what all my other vlogs are about, but I did want to do this sit down so that and then section it out so people could kind of take it in and think about it and hopefully try and implement it into your business. But I would really recommend doing open houses, flyers, join networking groups, get yourself out there, get in the mindset, be intentional, be consistent. And I would love to see if you guys are doing any of these things, if you would comment in the sections down below what you're trying, so this can be collaborative. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe, and I will be making more content this week and this month.